Tokyo Game Show 2024 is just round the corner, as well as a PlayStation State of Play. So it is time for us to get our tinfoiled hats and just fill the room with speculation. That is what this video is. There is no factual information here. It is just going off what we might know, what we might not know, and going off that and seeing what we could expect from Final Fantasy. So with that all being said, what is up guys, Jen here, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to the channel. As always, got you covered with timestamps. We're only going to be talking about 3 games which you've seen in the thumbnail, so if you want to skip to one of those sections, feel free to do so. All I ask is you to support the channel, hit that like button, and if you want to see more Final Fantasy content, then please consider hitting that subscribe button. So let's dive in to the 3 games here. So the 3 games I'm talking about is the Final Fantasy 13 Remastered Trilogy, we're talking about Final Fantasy Tactics Remake or Remaster, and we're talking about Final Fantasy 9 Remake. Let's start off with Final Fantasy 13 Remake Trilogy. I think a fitting title for this game is Final Fantasy 13 The Lightning Saga. This has not been confirmed in the slightest. There was a moment last year where people were picking up on a listing on the Square Enix press site, but that was a press site that had not been updated in years, so that just led nowhere. But the most recent news that we've got, there's 2 pieces here. One was from a tweet from Square Enix themselves, replying to Alex Mukala, who was talking about that he would much rather see Final Fantasy 13 be remastered before another remake, and they responded, why a remaster instead of a remake? And it got everyone going, oh, what are they saying this for? But on that same day, they were replying to a lot of other comments on the related tweets that they were talking about. So I just disregarded that as just engagement, and maybe just a bit of like a nice little way for Square Enix to get a bit of consumer feedback to throw back to the big boys in the offices and see if that anything stems from there. But I didn't look at it as like, hey, they're doing something, as much as I would like to see it. But the latest thing we've got is from 4chan. Leaks, they are what they are. Half of the leaks are not true, half of the leakers end up being people that they're not, that they say that they are, but they're not them, and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle. And there has been one that's been recently, but I feel like I could put a leak out there saying it's coming, make some things that sound believable, because it's one of those things that is being talked out at the moment, so everyone would jump on it. So my thoughts, are we going to get it at TGS 2024? Probably not. Are we going to get it in general? I think we will eventually. Again, yes, you can play it on Xbox, you can play it on PC. PlayStation, we know that the Switch 2 is coming out very soon. It would be nice to have these accessible to everyone as well, because these are games that are going through that phase at the moment where people are saying, hey, Final Fantasy 13 was not that bad, you know. I always like Final Fantasy 13. I'm excited to dive in. I want to get that Platinum trophy, but I don't want to dig out my PS3 to get it. So I'm thinking, yes, we will get a trilogy. Yes, it will have enhancements that we've had before. I don't think we'll see much outside of that, maybe a little bit of camera work, maybe some new textures, hopefully an option to turn off the timer in Lightning Returns, just so you can have a bit more of a casual playthrough and enjoy it for what it is. But I don't know how much that would mess with the actual systems of the game. But we're not going to see it TGS 2024, but we will be seeing it eventually, I am sure of that. So let's talk about Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster / Remake. We have not heard anything about this except from the Nvidia leak many years ago, and it hasn't cropped up since. I think there's a few insiders in the gaming space that have said, yes, this is a real thing, and yes, it's happening, and I should expect it to happen. I really feel that back when we got Tactics Ogre Reborn, it was like a testing of the waters of like, hey, we're releasing this, and then we're going to release Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster a little bit later down the line. But we know that Square Enix has got a new president. They've had a bit of a shuffle. They've cancelled some game projects, and they've tried to reprioritize things. They've got all of the business institutes renamed to studios now, and they're actually communicating with each other. And I do think that Tactics Remaster or Remake is on the cards, and I really think that Yoshi P's team might be working on this. And the reason I say this is that he's always wanted to work with Yasumi Matsuno, and he has worked with him to a certain degree on a few projects and a few things in Final Fantasy 14, but he's always wanted to work on a game with him. And of course, he is the legend behind some of the greatest tactic games that Square Enix has put out. So I think that maybe with the pool that Yoshi P has, he is on the board of directors. It's probably been worked on. It might even be completed. I don't know what kind of game would it be, because a lot of people would think after Triangle Strategy came out that maybe it might be a HD 2D title, but I don't think it will be. I think it might be more akin to what we got from Tactics Ogre Battle. I would like to see it. Because a little secret here, I've never played Final Fantasy Tactics, it never came out here in the UK. I own the PSP version of the War of the Lions, but I never opened it and played it. So I'm just waiting for that moment, and I'm hoping that it's soon so I can dive into what this game is really about, because I know that the story gets praised. It's all I see. I want to experience it, but I'm just waiting for that right time. And I think the remaster might be the right time, but we'll see it at TGS 2024. I'm going to say this is maybe. It is probably 30% yes and 70% no. Because there are a few gaps. We don't know any of the games that's coming from Square Enix from April 25 onwards. The only one we do know about is Final Fantasy Remake Part 3. So it's on the cards. We kind of know their release for the rest of the year. We've got Romancing Saga coming out, we've got Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D out, and then we've also got Fantasian Remaster coming out, that's coming to all consoles, and that's probably going to come out around January, February time, so there is a gap before the financial year ends, so it could see an early year release next year, but this is just me speculating now. But it's something I would like to see, and I would like to see it soon. And last but not least, Final Fantasy IX, the place we all want to return to someday. And this has been all over the place. Let's just go over the facts that we know. We're ignoring all the leakers here that have said they know things. We've heard insiders talk about it too. It came up on the Nvidia leak alongside Final Fantasy Tactics Remaster. And then I think that after that, the only thing legitimately has come up on a database is the Epic Store database, which had a pre-order bonus of a Tetramaster pack or something along those lines, along with some Thief Knives and some other pre-order bonuses. So that to me confirms that there is something there. And then when we weave in all of the insider stuff that people have been saying, yes, it's being worked on. No, it's been worked on with a different team. Let me just put a massive theory out there. Will we see it at TGS 2024? This is the highest probability game we will see out of the 3 games. I also think that if we don't see it here, we'll see it at the Game Awards or even an upcoming PlayStation State of Play, because there's a few things here. Let's just try and break it down as slow as I can. This is probably going to be the biggest section of the video as well. Final Fantasy IX is celebrating its 25th anniversary next year. So again, that's a perfect time. Also, we have had Final Fantasy IX collaborations in Ever Crisis, and it was highly present in the Dawn Trail as well with its pre-order bonuses and within the expansion itself. And there's even the Final Fantasy IX animated series. What's happened to that? We don't know, but I think that we are going to be seeing this in the lead up to the remake. And without going off the bat a little bit too much, I think this animated series is going to be a prequel series following select characters to the lead up of Final Fantasy IX. But again, I digress. We'll leave that for another video. So I feel like that maybe around earlier this year, late last year, was probably a time where we were going to see it or see something about it, but things have changed, and there is a few things changed. Yes, maybe it's changed development teams, but let me just big brain theory this right now, because Yoshi P has made a very good friend in the past couple of years who's played his game a lot. And I'm talking about the creator of Final Fantasy, Hironobu Sakaguchi. He loves Final Fantasy XIV, and he has, again, become very close with Yoshi P, to the point where Yoshi P managed to convince Hironobu Sakaguchi to come back to Square Enix, not in a full-time role, but to let them help push out Fantasian to more consoles. Something we would think that we'd never see. Sakaguchi working again with Square Enix. Now, I think that they've had more discussions. I think that they would have done the whole, hey, this is the officers, this is what everyone's worked with, and maybe they've seen, oh, this is where they're making the Final Fantasy IX remake, and Sakaguchi is like, hey, that's my baby. And the Yoshi P is like clicked and is like, I'm on the board of directors, fella. Maybe we can have you overseeing this project. You don't need to be hands-on or anything, but maybe we can get your approval of it since it's your baby. And we all know that it is Sakaguchi's swan song when it comes to Final Fantasy. So I think he is now involved to a capacity. Uematsu's probably come in to do a few reorchestrated tracks, just a few, maybe a new rendition of Melodies of Life. And that's where I think it's going. I think they're putting a little bit more effort into it. I think, because they've seen the traction online of just the thought of a Final Fantasy IX remake, and they are probably thinking, hey, we've got something here. This is a classic turn-based RPG. A lot of people would say that Final Fantasy IX embodies what Final Fantasy is. And they think, oh, maybe this is what we need to do. Maybe we need to just get it all in. It's still not going to be on par with the Remake series. Of course not. But I think this is going to be a winner when it eventually is released. And I think we're going to hear something about it this year. And I'm like 70 to 80% sure we'll hear about it at TGS. Again, TGS may pass and we've heard nothing. But I really think that the things that I've laid down the line and all the things that have happened along the way have happened for a reason. Final Fantasy IX is being remade. Hironobu Sakaguchi is involved with Square Enix to a capacity again. We've seen Final Fantasy IX be weaved into some IPs, whether it was Ever Crisis or Final Fantasy XIV. There's something there, and it's happening, and I think that they're going to go put that little bit more effort into it. But I'm more interested to hear your thoughts on these 3 titles in particular. Do you think we'll hear about any of these during TGS? Thank you for joining me on this one. Again, speculation, no facts. There's a few facts out there, but there's just a lot of things out there as well for us to speculate on. So I'm really interested to hear thoughts. Am I just off my trolley here with the thoughts and opinions that I've busted out? I'm just a fan. I would love to see these games be more accessible to more people to experience. I think that's where I'm coming from, a place of passion. But yeah, I'll leave it in your hands now. I thank you for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you on the flip side.